This is Juan Jimenez on November 8th, 2022, interviewing a military veteran who served for 22 years during 2 military combats and retired as a gunnery sergeant. Let me introduce you to Juan Jimenez.
Hi, good evening. My name is Juan Jimenez. I retired from the Marine Corps in 2018 as a gunnery sergeant. I served for 22 years.
Tell me about the early days in your career. Tell me about your boot camp and your training experience.
Boot camp slowly but surely became a place that I loved and hated at the same time. At first, let me say that Marine Corps boot camp is 12 weeks long, 3 months. And at first you're confused, you're lost, you don't know what's going on, but you're not the only one. There's about 50 to 60 other members that are just as confused and lost as you are. The second month, you start learning the ropes, as they say, and you start learning where to go, how to do things, when to get up, when to be ready, and you don't want to be the last one. And then during your third month, you have learned already and mastered many things, like learning how to march, learning how to utilize a rifle, learning how to take care of your friends, and finally graduation, which is the culmination and the cherry on top of 3 long months of boot camp.
What operations did you serve in?
I served during Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom, which was in Afghanistan. But I also collaborated prior to 9/11 in a couple of operations. One of them was a helicopter extraction. U.S. helicopter that failed, had engine failure, and landed in Cambodia while we were in Thailand. And then I also was part of an operation with the Australian Marines called Cobra Gold.
When you were in Thailand and Australia, what was the food like? Or even like on ship?
Well, let's start with ship. Ship food is bland. Even though they change the menu and they tell you that you're eating one day, I don't know, beef stroganoff, it still tastes the same as the tuna casserole. So you really don't know the difference. But once we landed in Australia, it was a treat. It was an awesome treat just to be able to taste some of their foods. I don't recall any of their particular dishes, but I do remember their beer, Foster's, which was a big highlight to a lot of the Marines during that time. Thailand was totally different. Now they did have a bigger variety of different foods, especially I do believe it's a jackfruit, what they have there, and they sell it in just about every corner. I loved it. A lot of Marines did not. And then a lot of different types of meats on a stick. Some of them we were told were chicken. Some of them we could clearly see there was not chicken, but rodents. And then among that, there was also a delicacy of monkey brains that we got to taste. Now, once we got done with the Thai Marines, one of their celebrations, or one of their culminating celebrations, is to kill a cobra. And once they kill that cobra, they cut it, and then they pour the blood into Coca-Cola glasses, and then whoever wants to volunteer gets to drink it. And I was one of the fortunate ones that was picked, and I loved it. Another fun fact or fun thing that happens on ship is that when you cross the equator, they do what's called a shellback initiation, which people that have crossed the equator before make you go through this ritual of flipping your clothes inside out and eating out of the water holes, which is where they anchor helicopters or any other equipment. So it's an initiation, but yet a fun event. And once you go through that event of crossing the equator and going through the shellback initiation, you get a certificate that says that you have crossed the equator, and you can no longer be inputted into that type of initiation.
Did your military experience influence your thinking about war or just the military in general? Like, how did your perception change, if it did?
Well, it did, because the perception, especially coming from a Hispanic culture, is that going to war is not a good thing. Something's going to happen to you. But there's more faces that come, with conflicts and going to war, and go into it, different operations, and after being part or going through the Civil Military Operations School, one of the things that I learned is that the Marine Corps in particular, we don't go to other countries just to start fights and end fights and do, shoot rounds at enemy. We also help and assist whenever there's natural disasters such as hurricanes, earthquakes, or after conflicts. The Marine Corps and the Civil Military Operations community assist in rebuilding schools.
Thank you so much for your time, Juan.
Thank you.